Hello again. This is Iron Master Mike. What I wanted to go over you again, in addition to the other stuff we're talking about, I've been a certified welder since 1982. Started out welding, went in as a welder, saw these guys with the blueprints, and I told them I could do that. I could lay out, fit it, weld it. And they go, well, you know, we got rules. Say, you know what, I'll do it for free. Don't give me no raise, and let me do what I can do. See if you like it. If not, I'll go back to welding. Well, I showed them what I could do, what I've learned. They moved me up. Actually, I moved me up because I didn't just sit back and, you know, settle for just one section of welding. Taught myself to read the blueprints, figured them all out, learned the lingo of the engineers. So then I went to my second job, and they taught me so many weld processes, I never did learn them all. You got sub-arc. Let's see. Sub-arc welding. There was a new process that I was sent to the Lincoln plant in Ohio. This thing was called VertiShield. With VertiShield, there's another one, which is really interesting, Electroslag. This process is very unique. I read up on it, I checked it out. They had old machines. Electroslag was designed in Russia. What they do, Electroslag is made for like a butt joint, but with a keyhole, but in very thick plate. We would weld 3-inch thick plate because they only came in, what, 4 foot by 6 or 8 foot slabs. So we had to put them together with this process. We had to make the weld procedure and get it to pass. I mean, when they do a weld test of that size, it's very extreme. We're talking impact testing, pull testing, X-ray, UT, all of them combined. So when you're doing procedural weld tests, they get very intense. But Electroslag is actually the same as VertiShield. VertiShield is a small process for smaller plate, but the same concept, but only about 3/4 inch plate to 1 inch with a square keyhole. So this one had a square keyhole, and you had your plate, and it would have a rod go in with a wire, flux cord wire running through the middle. The rod was a consumable rod. Same thing, Electroslag, exactly the same thing, but the scale is so much huge. So like everybody, when you start out welding, you're starting out with stick. And you pretty much have to, because that's where your hand-eye coordination gets developed. But there's so many processes you have to learn, and learn them all. If you have the opportunity, learn them all. So also, like I was saying before, that there's a certified welder inspector exam And I've taken it a couple times, but the one, and there's 2 levels. The CWI. So this one here is Certified Associate Welding Inspector. This one here is the one, this overrides the CAW, the Associate. You can do all the same work, but only the CWI can sign it off. So it's a good course to take. You want some insight on welding, everything on that test, it'll just mess up your mind. Then there was a new course I took, the last one I took. It was called NCCER. That one was for, it's a craft, it was for teaching. So your craft could be welding, they had different areas, but I took the one for welding, so you can teach welding. But what they do, they have books, but they leave it up to you based on your background and knowledge on how you want to teach. Because they leave it up to you because you got there somehow, you know, and you take this test and they want you to show people how you work, how you got to where you got to be. So the last place I worked at was a school. I was a welding instructor for a school, which is fun. Once you get to the level of being able to teach people everything you know, and I've always pushed that one point, make yourself an asset. I've told these guys, young people, you know, you want to get a job in welding and you want to just stay there. That's what you want to do your whole life. Learn everything that applies to that weld. On the inspection part, this CWI overrides the CAWI. But there's a separate one which I had. It's the CWE. So this one there is a certified welding educator. If you want to end up teaching, and you could apply after you try out for these, get one of these. I had the CAWI for like 12 years or something like that. And then while I was doing that, I got my CWE because I was training people at work. And that's where that came in handy. And you'll get questioned. There was outside companies going, okay, what's this guy know? What's this guy know? Boom, boom, boom. They want to find out if you're, you know, able to do the work. Oh, big companies like British Petroleum. I had an inspector to work with on some jobs there. Very picky. But I would check the work and go through and patch up everything before he got to see it. And, you know, he found minimal items. But, you know, I mean, I was glad to do something like that. You know, they trusted my work and my ability to do my job. And that's where you want to be. You want to be above everybody that's applying for the same job you're going to apply for. So the more you know, the more it's going to help you. And like I said, I keep saying it again, make yourself an asset, not just an employee. and you'll be surprised.